Greasy says.
What up, Greasy people? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Man, been a fun week last week. Welcome back, Greasy says, where I'm working on my own horror sci-fi game in Unreal. I am a game developer who's going into it indie for the first time ever. Yay, man! I hope you guys are following along. Oh, Patreon is live. We're gonna launch it. We're gonna launch it in this episode right now. We'll do it later. Man, I was throwing around the old Nerf ball with my kid over the weekend after an amazing week off, hanging out with various folks. Got the families together, got the kids together, went down to the old lake. It was awesome, super fun. Exhausting as well, because you stick a bunch of kids in the same house and a bunch of burnt out parents, and guess what they do? They just talk about their kids, and the kids just go crazy, and you leave feeling more tired than you walked in with. You know what I mean? So I was throwing around the old Nerf ball. We were having a great time in the yard, but then I was throwing it around for like 2 hours, running around. Destroyed my shoulder and my neck. I don't even know how. I wasn't even doing that much. But you know when you don't do a repetitive motion for a long time and then you try to do it again and you're like, "Gah!" Your whole body's like, "Bleh! What are you doing? What do you think this is?" You can't walk and eat a sandwich at the same time. You crazy? You haven't done that in like 40 years. So I'm going through that right now. That's why I got this cane working on my back, yo. I won't do it for the whole show, but it feels so good. Shout out to you if you are an aging person dealing with body pains and aches. You gotta stretch, you gotta exercise. Remember to do your squats. If you're not squatting, what are you doing? Yeah, remember to take care of your body, because you only get one. It's like teeth. You fuck those up, you're screwed. While I was on this amazing break, this week off, I ended up watching this movie, One Battle After Another. And it got me thinking of, like, I was like, who the fuck is Paul Thomas Anderson? I don't know who that person is, but I do know who he is. Because this cat, I mean, holy crap, he made Magnolia. He made Boogie Nights. Ever heard of it? He made There Will Be Blood, a bona fide freaking epic classic. Among other things that I haven't seen. I never saw The Master. I never saw Inherent Vice. Never saw Licorice Pizza. But I did see One Battle After Another. Killer flick, man. Super fun. Really funny. I was laughing the whole time. It was hilarious. But I was really feeling the music. Turns out it was Johnny Greenwood, lead guitarist of Radiohead, did the music for that little gem. Great thing about that score is, go back and listen to it if you can. There are strong similarities between the music in certain sections, particularly like comical, tense sections, where the line is very thin between action and comedy, where he composes this stuff that sounds almost exactly like when you're on the horse in Death of the Wild. You know that piano thing? You know what I'm talking about. If you ever played Breath of the Wild, you know what it's like. You jump on a horse for more than like 30 seconds, they start playing this music. Very, very similar style on One Battle After Another. Great job, Johnny. Congrats. You're already a millionaire, but I hope you make $1 million again. You probably did. Let's face facts. You definitely made $1 million. All right, let me get rid of this thing. Hold on a second. So what was the last? I got a question for y'all, all the greasy people out there. Console launches. Remember those? Those are still a thing, right? For now. But console launches, man. I mean, what was the last console launch that stood out for you? And I mean, if you're like a kid, you're a child. Obviously, these new ones, PS5 is like a groundbreaking thing, and for you, and it's probably the one you stayed up late to go get, or what do you do now? You like refresh on Amazon or whatever forever until you beat a bot? Is that how you stay out for console launches? Not me, man. Not me. I'm an old crusty bastard. That means that I used to have to stand outside of a store. Remember those things? Stores? I used to have to stand outside of stores to get my video games, to get my console. I used to, man. All right, let's go through it. We're gonna skip some of the initial. What the fuck is that? The Microvision Blockbuster? Wait, it has balls and speed as buttons. That doesn't concern anybody? Okay, we're moving on. Let's see. Oh, cool. They break it down by generation. Okay, so we're skipping the first generation, we're skipping the second generation. I was too young, and I lived in a third world country, so there was no way I could even stand outside of a store to get these things. Yes, the Nintendo came out, but that was being shipped in, smuggled in the bellies of Guatemala. I don't know. Like, it was tough to get this shit. Now we talking the 80s? Woo. This right here, Sega Master System and Nintendo, that's when it started. That's when my journey started. TurboGrafx 16, I don't know if I ever told you about this, but I literally cried the first time I played a TurboGrafx 16 game. I played Bonk. Tears streaming down my face. Just, it was so beautiful to me. I couldn't even fathom games being so cool. TurboGrafx 16 is one of my favorite consoles, but I never owned it because I was poor. But now we get into the realm of shit that I could actually buy. The fifth generation. PlayStation. Let's go to the fifth generation. You see this little gray PlayStation? I think this is one of the coolest consoles ever. You remember the startup sound? It went kind of like that. I mean, I am really good at impressions. You had so much bullshit you had to go through, right? You had to have a memory card, okay, to save your freaking game. They're milking that. How much was a memory card? Like $20? Or was it more than that? Do they have it here? No, they ain't gonna have that shit in there. Anyway, this was my first console where I was like, okay, I'm committed. I'm waiting in line. I'm getting out there. Actually, no, I didn't wait in line for this. I lied. I got the PlayStation simply because Final Fantasy 7 was on that shit. I played I like read about Final Fantasy 7 in a goddamn book. Ever heard of those? In a book, and that enticed me so much. A book enticed me so much. I went out and I got the PlayStation and Final Fantasy 7. And I can't even explain the excitement. That part of me is dead now. That excitement that I felt booting up Final Fantasy 7 for the first time and seeing the graphics. Square ass Cloud with his spiky triangular hair blew my mind, homie. That was it for me. That was the beginning of the end. And it tumbled from there. All right, so that one was huge, but not really a launch. The N64. Now that, my friends, was a launch. I was there, day one, cop my shit. That was before RAM packs, right? Cop my shit, cop Wave Race 64 right here, boom. Freaking classic. You still can't make water that looked this good. I'm kidding, obviously. But goddamn, the water was awesome in that game. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time came out later. Crazy. Now we jump ahead to the problem years. This is when I developed a gaming problem. where I was probably spending more on games than I was on probably clothes or trying to get laid or dating girls and anything, dating anyone really. I would just plow all my. I used to work at a game store, and I would just basically get money from them and give them their money back. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for my paycheck. Here's half of it so I can buy some games I'm going to play for like a couple months. Totally stupid. But I stood outside for that PS2. I really did. I remember thinking the night before, like stressing out about which way am I gonna orient this bitch? Am I gonna lay it down? Or am I gonna stand it up? Will it be able to read discs if it's standing up? Apparently not as well. Will it overheat if I lay it down? Like really dumb ideas and thoughts, but obsessing about the thing I was gonna get. I got that PlayStation 2 day one, man. Changed everything. What was the game that launched with the PS2? It was a bunch of garbage, right? It was like, let me find out. Oh, here we go. Yep, I remember these. Okay, so picture this. Let me paint you a picture. It's 4:00 in the morning. Me, my brother, a friend of my brother's, all of them into games. My brother not so much, but me way, and the other guy way. 4:00 in the morning. Pack a snack. Wipe the coal out my eye. See who's this paging me and why, right? Jump in a car. Drive to an obscure Best Buy in the middle of nowhere because we figured we'd have a better chance of landing a PS2. Arriving to said store at like, while the sun is still not in the sky at all. Pull up, hop out, and see like 50 people already in line. This is the first time I was exposed to motherfuckers in sleeping bags, motherfuckers with tables. It wasn't to the point now where like motherfuckers showing up with coolers and a grill and shit, but it was intense. It was crazy. And we stood there, man, in camaraderie for hours, man, chatting it up with some random motherfucker. What you gonna get? What you gonna get? Can I skip in line? Hell no, I'll beat your ass. Them kind of things. Wow, look, a girl. Like those kind of crazy things. All to walk away, for me personally, with a PS2. Armored Core 2, huge mistake. What else did I get? What else is on this? Oh, I definitely got ready to rumble boxing for sure, which was pretty fun. And I got Time Splitters. Yep, I remember getting Time Splitters, and maybe I got SSX as well. I splurged, man. Later on, I got all the rest of them and stuff, but that was, I got Kessen. That was a huge mistake. I remember getting that game and being like, and that was probably a full 50, y'all. For a broke ass dude like me, 50? Get out of here, bro. Man. Anyway, that was a spectacular launch. I had a lot of fun with that launch. Ooh, then we get to one of my personal favorite consoles of all time, the good old Dreamcast. I mean, look at that controller. How non-ergonomic is that controller, man? Look at it. It had a little thing you popped in the back that came with games on it. You could be a little Tamagotchi. They were trying all kinds of mess with this. It was compatible with Windows CE. Why? Who knows? Doesn't matter. It was great. Again, another one. Oh, this time though, I was ahead of the game, guys. I still worked at this game place, and I think what I did, if I remember correctly, is I used a loophole. I was able to early pre-order my shit because I worked there, and then I could just stroll in and grab it when I was ready to grab it. I really hacked it on that one. After that first PlayStation 2 experience, I was like, no. We gotta work the system a little bit to try and get in here before the rest of these plebs get in here. Man, what did I cop? I copped, of course, I had to get Sonic Adventure right out the gate. had to get Blue Stinger, Fire, and I had to get House of the Dead 2. That was my 3. Nope, and I got Hydro Thunder too. But like, think about those. That's some fire ass games. Okay, Blue Stinger was kind of a stinker, but hilariously kitschy. One of the best rocket launchers ever in any game. House of the Dead 2, I had full double guns. I bought 2 guns, y'all. 2 guns, so I could John Woo that shit. Just because I had fantasies of being the dude from those movies or whatever. That was like $120-something just for that game. Because you gotta get 2 guns. But I had a blast with that shit, man. I played that shit so much. People be coming over my house playing that shit. Man, Dreamcast was a crazy, cool launch. I had so much fun with that console. And then Power Stone comes out later, and Soul Calibur and all this good shit. Oh my god. I think I might have copped Soul Calibur too. Did it? I might have copped a lot of stuff. Again, blowing your entire check on games. I'm just lucky I was living at home with mama. That's all I'm saying. And you know, the following years, the Wii, I think I stood in line for that one. Yeah, I did. I definitely did. That was a more disappointing launch. And it just gets more and more disappointing from then on. Like, I didn't have a 360, but once I saw Gears on a high definition TV, not a Vaseline covered standard def TV, then I knew I had to buy one of those things. It red ringed. This is when, like, at the 7th generation is when consoles started to be like, you might get one that don't work out the gate, which is crazy. And this is when prices started to go into outer space. My boy was telling me the other day, I don't have a PS5. I'm not going to buy a PS5. But a PS5 is like almost $1,000 right now. That's crazy. Why would you pay $1,000 for something that's gonna play what? What do you have on there? Anything? No. What is your PS5 only game exclusives? Astrobot? Huh? Demon Souls remake? Huh? I guess Wolverine? Ghost of Yote? Who cares? Anything? Nothing. There's nothing here that's like, whoa, this is groundbreaking. So yeah, nah, fuck that. Anyway, those are my favorite console launches. What were yours? Comment. What were your favorite console launches and why? And what games did you get with your favorite console launch? And do you regret buying those games? Were they a huge waste of time? Because usually those launch games were pretty bad, with the exception of Soul Calibur. That was fire. And House of the Dead, but that was a port of an arcade game that already existed. So, yeah, there. I don't know. Console launches have changed forever. They're not as exciting anymore. But if you are excited about them, let me know in the comments. Yeah, maybe I'm just a crotchety old bastard. All right, we're starting to come down to the free part of the podcast, coming down to the end here. So let's launch the Patreon. You want to launch it with me? I've never done this before. Let's see how bad this is going to go. It's going to be patreon.com/Greasy says. That's where you go. That's where you go to support your boy. Tell your friends. Let's publish. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to publish it. Oh! I get to copy a link. Man, that was almost as disappointing as these new console launches. But look, proof. The Greasy Says page is live on Patreon. So please support. We love you very much. I'll be back next week with more parts of the game to show off. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that. We just got wrapped up talking about console launches and time just kind of escaped. But go support your boy on Patreon. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I'll catch you in the next one. You got me? Peace out.
Greasy Says.
Laters.